The Time Machine by H.G. Wells, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea by Jules Verne, The Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien. All of these have a timeless ability to transport their audiences to new fictional worlds. But we already create our own compelling digital worlds and physically interact with them using virtual reality. What's it like inside the virtual world? I asked myself this 2 years ago, so I demoed it, and I was so blown away that I quickly bought my own VR headset, and I've been hooked ever since. Virtual reality may be young, but if its previous years are any indication, then the 2020s will be its golden age. There's never been as much variety and competition in the VR market than there is right now. Technology will improve, the games will get better, and the prices will drop. So you may be closer to entering the virtual realm than you may think. For more than a century, people have been trying to create their own virtual experiences, but it wasn't until computers came along that it really exploded into a major global industry. Its momentum will carry it into the future, and virtual reality will change how we work and express ourselves. The origins of virtual reality go back more than a century, as evidenced by old immersion techniques, crude 20th century gimmicks, and early electronic devices. People have always been looking for ways to create virtual experiences. VR can be found as far back in history as the 19th century. Panoramic paintings are a form of virtual reality because they fill a viewer's field of view, creating sensation that they are actually there. There's also stereoscopic images, which provide a different image for each eye, creating a sense of depth. 20th century attempts try to use technology to create virtual experiences. In the 1950s, cinematographer Morton Hiley created the Sensorama, which was a booth that played a short movie and stimulated all five senses of its viewer to create the illusion that they were actually inside the movie. During the 1960s, Hiley created his own virtual reality headset. All it did was play a simple stereoscopic movie. Modern computers really created the first truly immersive virtual experiences. In 1989, NASA created their own virtual reality headset for training their astronauts, nicknamed Project View. This was the first headset that actually tracked its users' motion through a three-dimensional computer-generated world. It also included the first virtual reality controller in the form of a glove that allowed its user to grab and manipulate virtual objects. Years later, video game companies tried to introduce virtual reality to consumers. For a time, select arcades featured virtual reality machines to customers. In 1993, Sega announced a virtual reality headset for its Sega Genesis console, and in 1995, Nintendo released its portable Virtual Boy headset in Japan and North America. However, all of these virtual reality products either never reached full development or flopped commercially. So virtual experiences have existed since old times. During the 20th century, there were mechanical and digital devices that try to create digital experiences. So now that we've seen these previous attempts, let's look at how it's done in recent times. Actually, virtual reality has exploded as a major global industry in the previous decade. Today's virtual reality began as one enthusiast project, but because it used the right technology and had the financial support of many big companies, it grew. As reported by Peter Rubin of Wired Magazine, the story of the rise of virtual reality began with a California techie named Paul Merlucky. In 2012, he started his own virtual reality company named Oculus. Oculus started a crowdfunding campaign in 2014 and raised over $2 million, as well as $75 million in venture funding. Finally, in 2016, they released their first virtual reality headset for consumers named the Rift. It did well because it used cutting-edge screen technologies that provided clear, colorful images while also preventing motion sickness. It also included intuitive motion controls and access to Oculus's convenient cloud-based store system, which allowed new users to get more access to more games than ever before. Today, there are many major players in the VR industry. There's, of course, Oculus, who's released many headsets since, such as the Rift S, a improvement upon the Rift, as well as the Quest, which is a standalone headset that doesn't need a computer to run. There's also HTC, a Taiwanese electronics company that is Oculus's closest competitor. They have the Vive, a headset similar to the Rift, as well as the improved Vive Pro. They also have the Vive Cosmos, which is a standalone headset much like the Oculus Quest. Sony also has a large share in the industry. They offer the PlayStation VR headset, which connects to a PlayStation 4 console, so anyone with the console can use the VR headset as well. To date, they've sold more than 5 million units, as revealed at this year's Consumer Electronics Show. So as you've heard, virtual reality has come a long way since its humble beginning. But because it had the right technology to make it work, major companies all over the world have recognized it for its value. All this has happened in just a few years, but this is only the beginning. In fact, virtual reality is poised to become a useful tool in many non-gaming applications. Filmmakers are already seeing VR as a new storytelling medium. VR films are filmed in a full 360 degrees, so viewers can look in any direction they want. And some scenes unfold around the viewer. Others, like I, Philip, directed by Pierre Zanderwich, the film is shot from the perspective of its protagonist, allowing the viewer to become a character in the movie. Virtual reality also allows first-hand experience in situations that are otherwise too dangerous, expensive, or impractical. In a presentation given at the 1998 Acadia Conference, design and VR expert Thomas Dort explained how VR enables industry designers to enter their designs. You see, a common problem that the designers encounter is they experience a disconnect between themselves and the product that they're designing. Virtual reality solves this by allowing them to enter their designs. So, for example, architects can enter and review their structures before they're built. Product designers can see their products in person before they're made. And engineers can test new machinery without wasting real-world time or money. Other ways include doctors who use VR for practicing surgeries. Doctors' patients use VR to cope with concussions, chronic pain, addiction, and PTSD. Even the U.S. military is now using virtual reality, like in North Carolina's Fort Bragg, where virtual reality is used as a training program for soldiers. So this is just a sample of how virtual reality enables new forms of artistic expression and creates new ways of boosting productivity. Time will tell what's next for virtual reality, but it stands to reason that as technology improves and consumer adoption grows, so too will its social and cultural impact. So I've explained how virtual reality is no ordinary technology. Throughout history, there have been many attempts to bring virtual reality to the public, but none have succeeded until now. Because now we've got the right technology, the right people, and the right companies making it happen. In the future, VR will shake up how we do things in the future. So the next time that you imagine yourself traveling through time, or exploring the ocean depths, or riding dragons, casting spells, remember, it may not be as impossible as you think.